Psalm 91 is one of the most prayed, most quoted, most memorized passages in the entire Bible. It has been called the soldier's psalm, the psalm of protection, the plague psalm. It has been carried into battlefields, hospitals, prison cells, and refugee camps for 3,000 years. And it is one of the most misread chapters in all of Scripture. Because if you take Psalm 91 to mean God promises that no bad thing will ever happen to me, you will eventually be devastated by life. Faithful believers throughout history have been killed by plague, executed for their faith, lost everything they loved. So what does Psalm 91 actually promise? That is the question we are going to answer today. The first thing to understand about Psalm 91 is that there are three different voices speaking in it. The author is not credited in the psalm itself, but most ancient Jewish tradition attributed Psalm 91 to Moses. Whoever wrote it, they wrote it as a layered conversation between three speakers, and once you can hear the three voices, the whole psalm opens up. Voice 1, in the opening two verses, is the believer, the one who has chosen to trust God. Voice 2, in verses 3 through 13, is someone speaking to the believer, a priest, a friend, a prophet, the voice that affirms the promises. And voice 3, in the final three verses, is God himself, speaking directly, making the promise personal. Three voices, one promise. Listen for them as we walk through it. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. Two words to slow down on. Dwelleth. This is not a casual visit. The Hebrew word means to settle, to reside, to make a home. The promise of Psalm 91 is not for someone who occasionally remembers God in moments of fear. It is for the one who has made trust in God their actual address. And secret place. In the ancient world, kings and priests had inner sanctuaries, hidden rooms where only intimate companions could enter. The secret place of the Most High is not a public church, it is a private friendship. This is the gatekeeping verse of the entire psalm. Every promise that follows is for the one who lives in that secret place. Then the believer makes a declaration. He is my refuge. He is my fortress. He is my God. I will trust him. That declaration is the entry fee. The second voice, speaking to the believer, picks up the promise. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Three images in two verses. The snare of the fowler, a hidden trap set by an enemy to catch unseen prey. The Hebrew here refers to the kind of trap a bird hunter would set in tall grass. Spiritually, it means the schemes you do not see coming, the traps laid by enemies you do not know exist. The pestilence, plague, sickness, contagion. The kind of threat that does not pick targets, that just spreads. And then, the most beloved image in the entire psalm, the wings. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. A mother bird, when threatened, will spread her wings over her chicks and shelter them with her own body. Whatever is coming will hit her first. Her feathers are not armor. They are sacrifice. They are her own life, laid down to keep her young safe underneath. That is the image Psalm 91 chooses for the protection of God. Not a wall, not a fortress, a mother bird. And then, his truth shall be thy shield and buckler. A shield was held in front of you. A buckler was a smaller defensive piece worn on the body, front and side. Both directions, both kinds of protection. And then the second voice gives a list. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. 4 threats are named, 2 time frames, day and night, hidden and exposed. The terror by night, fear of what hides in the dark. The arrow by day, the threats you can see. The pestilence in darkness, disease that strikes invisibly. The destruction at noonday, open warfare in broad daylight. The point is comprehensive. There is no time, no place, no kind of threat from which God's protection is absent. And then, the staggering line. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. This is the verse that has comforted soldiers in war for 3,000 years. The promise is not that you avoid the battlefield. The promise is that you walk through it. This is important. Psalm 91 is not for people who have managed to avoid the storms of life. It is for people who are standing inside the storm and trusting that they are covered. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Notice how that section opens. Because thou hast made the Lord thy habitation. Once again, the protection is for those who dwell, not visit, dwell. Then the famous verses about angels. Angels assigned to your guard. Angels carrying you so that even the smallest stumble is caught. And the closing image, trampling on the lion, the adder, the young lion, the dragon. This is not a literal promise about dangerous animals. It is a spiritual image. The lion and the serpent, symbols of the demonic in Scripture. Genesis 3:15 promised that the seed of the woman would crush the serpent. Psalm 91 echoes that promise. The believer in trust does not just survive the enemy, the believer treads on the enemy. But, and this is critical, we cannot move past these verses without addressing what may be the most infamous use of Psalm 91 in all of Scripture. In Matthew chapter 4, Jesus is led into the wilderness to be tempted by Satan. The tempter quotes Psalm 91, verses 11 and 12 directly. He brings Jesus to the highest point of the temple in Jerusalem and says, "If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down." And then he quotes our psalm, word for word. "He shall give his angels charge concerning thee. In their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone." Satan quotes our psalm, word for word, and Jesus refuses. He does not say the verse is wrong. He does not deny the promise. He simply quotes another scripture in return. "Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God." Why does this matter? Because it is the Bible's own commentary on how to read Psalm 91. Even Jesus refused to use Psalm 91 the way Satan tried to use it, as a magical guarantee of safety in any reckless circumstance. Psalm 91 is not a charm. It is a covenant. It promises protection to those who dwell in the secret place, not to those who jump off of buildings to test the promise. Trust is not testing. They are opposites. The believer trusts. The doubter tests. This is one of the most important interpretive moments in the entire Bible, and it is buried right inside our psalm. And then, the third voice, the voice that closes Psalm 91, God Himself. "Because He hath set His love upon me, therefore will I deliver Him. I will set Him on high, because He hath known my name." He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. The pronouns shift. God says, me and I. This is the voice of God himself speaking through the writer, making the promises personal. And notice what God promises. He does not promise no trouble. He promises, I will be with him in trouble. He does not promise the absence of difficulty. He promises his own presence in the middle of it. That is what Psalm 91 is actually about. Psalm 91 is not a magical guarantee that nothing bad will happen to you. It is the promise of the unbroken presence of God for those who have made him their address. For those who have moved into the secret place, who have settled there, who have stopped pretending they are self-sufficient, God promises something more profound than the absence of suffering. He promises his own nearness inside the suffering. That is not less than what most people want from this psalm. It is more. Because the worst thing about pain is not pain, it is feeling alone in it. And the deepest promise of Psalm 91 is that you will never be alone in it again. That is why this psalm has been carried into every battlefield, every hospital, every prison, every refugee camp for 3,000 years. Not because it promises that nothing will hurt, because it promises that nothing will ever come without him. For our next video in the book of Psalms, we move to Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? Where Psalm 91 is about shelter, Psalm 27 is about light. The shadow becomes the dawn.